Shalom, shalom, and welcome. Welcome to Set Apart Time. My name is Symmanayah, and these are the words I'm compelled to present before an awakening nation. O Yashar'al, the focus here, the message here is about natural mountains and set apart mountain, and how man have been infatuated with the natural and anointed set apart mountains of Yahuah, such that they have looked and tried to replicate the majesty of the hand of the Most High by building the towers and pyramids and obelisks and skyscrapers. You may say, what does this have to do with anything? And I submit to you, I will read 3 passages of scriptures, and I will talk more on why this is important to understand natural mountains, set apart mountains versus man-made towers and pyramids and obelisks and skyscrapers. I begin with Genesis chapter 8, verse 4. Genesis chapter 8, verse 4. And it reads, in the 7th new moon, the 17th day of the new moon, the ark rested on the mountains of Ararat. Here we see the ark that Noah and his family was on. It rested on a mountain. And this is where a new beginning took place as the flood receded. It began at the mountain, the Ararat Mountains, of which the Most High Father designated as his set apart new beginning for Noah and his family. The next passage I want to read to you is Genesis 11 chapter, verses 4 through 9. And they said, come, let us build ourselves a city, a tower whose top is in the heavens, and make a name for ourselves, lest we be scattered over all the face of the earth. Then Yahuah came down to see the city and the tower which the sons of men had built. And Yahuah said, look, they are one people. They all have one language. And this is what they begin to do. And now they are not going to be withheld from doing whatever they plan to do. Come, let us go there and confuse their language so that they do not understand one another's speech. And Yahuah scattered them from there over the face of all the earth, and they left off building the city. 9th verse. That is why its name was called Babel, because Yahuah confused the language of all the earth, and from there Yahuah scattered them over the face of all the earth. One other passage I'd like to read is Exodus chapter 3, verse 12. What I just read was Genesis 11, 4 through 9. And we can see man was infatuated with the natural mountains and the set apart mountains of Yahuah, such that wasn't satisfactory enough. They wanted something in their minds more fanciful, more attached to them, so to speak. So they built a tower. And in Genesis 11 chapter verses 4 through 9, we see that tower resulted in the many different languages that came about because man was trying to pursue his own vanity. Now in Exodus chapter 3 verse 12 reads, and he said, because I am with you, and this is to you the sign that I have sent you. When you have brought the people out of Mitzrayim, you are to serve the Almighty One on this mountain. On this mountain. It's describing instructions to Moses, or Musha, to lead his people to his set apart mountain. Yahuah's set apart mountain. Man has been infatuated. If we look over the years, we'll see that from the Tower of Babel that was destroyed, man still had a desire to reach the skies with buildings. There are many towers and skyscrapers throughout the world, and each trying to profess or compete. Many of them competing to say this is the tallest one on the planet. There are many obelisks in many of these countries where they have obelisks sticking up sky high in the air, tall. I submit to you, there was a time when Pharaoh built the pyramids. He was not satisfied with the natural set-apart mountains of the Most High, the natural mountains. So he came up with pyramids. and wanted to build them as high as he possibly can. Pyramids with angles, specifically designed to meet his fanciful needs. And man has become infatuated with pyramids, saying these are older than the dawn of the ages. What does this have to do with today? What does this have to do with anything? Well, just as man have proven throughout the years that they would try, and not only try, but build things high. They cannot hold a candle, so to speak. They cannot be more powerful than the natural mountains that the Most High have put before the face of the earth. It is not more powerful than the set-apart mountain that Yahuah have established. And I believe in these end times, we will come to know that Jabal Allah is indeed the true Mount Sinai. And in the final Exodus, this is where Yashar'al will be, camped around the set-apart mountain of Yahuah, Mount Sinai, the true Mount Sinai. I also want to bring your attention, just as man has over the years tried to put something up that gives more attention to what is natural, what is set apart by building their own skyscrapers and pyramids and obelisks. Man is also trying to recreate what they believe end time prophecy describes. So many will be confused as the wicked one will draw a narrative, will put together a landscape and propaganda to make us think that these are the elements of end time prophecy. So there will be a difference, my brothers and sisters. There will be a difference to what is indeed real and occurring versus what is being promoted. Just as man tried with all these towers that they built to try to make them pale, try to make them soar over the natural mountains, man is also trying to refabricate end time prophecy. So be alert, my brothers and sisters. This is a time to grow in discernment. This is a time to know that man tries to copy and replicate many things that are set apart. Do not be deceived. Do not be taken advantage of. Let us avoid becoming victims of those who are trying to replicate. We also see this even in the attire, the dress that people are making. Many people are trying to replicate what they think was the way of Yasharal. So be mindful, my brothers and sisters. Let us not go overboard trying to replicate things that we should not. But let us also open our spirits and mind to understand our culture, our direction, and what lies ahead. On that note, my brothers and sisters, I pray your day has started well. I pray that you are continually encouraged. I pray that this tidbit of information will have some relevance to the growing of Yasharal, to the coming together in unity of an awakening nation. Until next time, shalom, shalom, shalom.